If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC24, go to u7buy.com to buy your EA FC24 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. What is going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a new evolution to check out. This one is a pretty crazy one that improves a lot of cards to make them feel significantly better in game that are pretty meta. So there's going to be a ton of options. There's not going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correct choices. There's going to be a ton of correct choices depending on the state of your team, right? So what I can do is basically give you guys the rundown of base mechanics of each individual card, and then you can kind of go from there in regards to whether or not you want to upgrade them. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because with these cards, a lot of them you could tell they're not like full meta cards, but sometimes when cards get upgraded, EA drops like some special sauce on them, so they could potentially do that with this one too, right? So apparently with this evolution, chat was telling me that it is a paid one. Yeah, so I'm assuming it's Team of the Season Upgrade Series 2. Yeah, so it is Upgrade Series 2. So there was Upgrade Series 1, which actually improved a few different cards. Now Series 2 gives them the extra improvement on top of it, right? So the improvements that the card ends up getting is actually in the passing, dribbling, and defensive departments. Now, because that's going to be the case, honestly, it could be a very ideal Evo to give to midfielders, center backs. Strikers, you can maybe do a little bit too, because honestly, when it's for certain strikers, giving them some small defensive improvements could be very helpful depending on who it is. A very good example would be the Alvarez card, because he does have 73 defending for this new card, right? So the improvements that you get is all stat improvements, but this one right here is going to be an example of one of the options you could potentially go with, right? So with Alvarez, they do give him that small boost in the defensive department, which, you know, could be helpful for a little bit, right? This card you don't give any dribbling boost to. It's a card you just give, I would say, a Hawk or a Hunter to. Would I personally waste the evolution on this Alvarez card? Probably not. Like I said, I think that defensive boost is a really nice thing to get, especially for like midfielders and defenders. It is nice to be given for Alvarez, because honestly, this card's really good. I do think that just this version of his card is already fine, because the card, in my opinion, it's still formatted for a Hunter chemistry style. If you give him small improvements in different areas, it's not exactly where you kind of like want him to be, right? So the 92 rated version, you know, has the evolutions from the 94. There's a 93. This is the one you would get. You would still give him that Hunter chemistry style anyways. You know what I'm saying? You want to improve his shooting. You want to improve his pace. Sure, technically on the newer rated version, which is this one, the 94, you can go in a different direction and give him like a Hawk or something. But like the way the card is formatted and the stat improvements that you're given, it might be more ideal to go with somebody else, right? But Alvarez, obviously a good card. You guys know that I like him a lot. I do think that at this point, people still probably prefer different strikers, but for me, Alvarez plays the way that I like my attackers to play. So Saliba, this is a card I would really look into, okay, personally. I'm going to tell you guys why, okay? So I tried out the Saliba card, and I think he's a good card. I do think that he's a good card, but I do feel like he needs that improvement as well to really make him feel a little bit extra special. Because when I tried out this card, I even mentioned in the comment section of that review, which was done super late. It was like a week and a half after, right? But what I mentioned with this card was that there were still other center backs, because you guys know I'm really picky with center backs. There's still other center backs that I would rather use over him. Like there was one time I tried out this evolution Austrian guy from like I think the Bundesliga, and that card in game was a monster. Like I thought he was an absolute beast, and I didn't think Saliba was as good, right? But here's the thing, the improvements, right, is a big deal for a card like this, because it's in dribbling, defending, and passing. Okay, so the passing for base card stats, really big W, right? The defending on a Shadow, I mean, to be fair, he's already in a very good area when it comes to that specifically. But then there's also, you know, the dribbling and the passing that it's nice to get, right? It is nice to get for the card. So I wouldn't be against this one to give him those small stat improvements. Could you technically go in the direction of giving him an anchor? You could, but do you want to work with the low acceleration with how this game generally plays out? I wouldn't recommend it personally, right? Definitely wouldn't recommend it. Let me just do this over here so I could put chat over here on the side. Yeah, but just be mindful that the improvements that you give in defending is not the main thing here, right? When you give him that shadow chemistry style, especially. So we're going to see some other options here to see if there's like really, really nice, obvious ones. Lacazette. So Lacazette gets a defending boost, which is not relevant to him, but he does receive a dribbling boost as well as a passing boost. So for a card like this, I'm going to be honest, it might be one that makes a little bit more sense. Because I'll tell you guys this right now, I did the review for the SBC card, and it's a decent card, but it's 100% the type of card where you feel like you actually want both of the upgrades, to be honest with you. Like when I'm using him in-game, I was like, I really want this card to be double upgrade. Like you could really tell, especially when I was using the SBC, just like the first version, right? So obviously, if you did unlock this card, you put him into the first evolution, you put him into the second one, the improvements, they're pretty nice because your direction of chemistry style, it changes a little bit, right? Because when you go to this one over here, your original thought is, okay, I got to give him an engine chemistry style, right? Because I got to boost his passing, his pace, as well as his dribbling. This card is different because now you can go in the direction of giving him a hawk, improving his physical, making his shooting basically perfect, and then making his pace perfect too, right? So this is where the improvement makes a little bit more sense to give because of the stat improvements that you've received. You received a boost in passing, dribbling, and defending. So for base card stats, you don't have to touch those things now, right? So for a card like this, it would make more sense to kind of do it on him if you want the striker and all that kind of stuff. Do I think he's like a top tier striker? Debatable, right? Because like I said, EA can drop some special sauce, especially since you're double upgrading him, right? But from the original one, it's just cool that you now have that option to improve the card that much, right? That's a very big key thing to mention here. Heung-min Son, honestly, the improvements for this card wouldn't be bad either, because the small improvements that they gave him, you could still go in the direction of giving him an engine chemistry style because of the way that the dribbling is kind of formatted, like the small improvements that kind of help out a little bit because it helps him work with his press proven plus a little bit more, right? He's got the finesse shot plus, he's got chip shot. Chip shot I don't really use as much, but finesse shot and press proven is one of my personal favorite play styles because it allows you to move properly depending on the types of players that you're using and stuff, right? But with Son, the improvements are nice, right? Because even base card stats for passing is not perfect yet, right? It's close to perfect. So those small improvements being added to the card is nice as well. So you can't really go wrong with this one. The defensive stats, not as relevant. So that's where the evolution is a little bit more shaky in regards to giving it to him in comparison to some of the other cards, right? But you could go in that direction if you want to, right? It's not necessarily a horrible direction. Odegaard, just from looking at him, could be also a card that is a good choice. The reason being for this is because from this upgrade on Team of the Season Upgrade Series 2, the card is still formatted for a hunter, in my opinion, right? But a key thing to mention here, and if you guys watch the review, you're going to hear me say the exact same thing, is the base card stats for dribbling being improved, right? So this is a 95 rated version. You're giving him a hunter that improves the shooting and the pace, right? So with the card being improved in this way, his pace is going to be in a significantly better area. His shooting is going to be in a better area, but base card stats for passing, dribbling, and defending, again, improved. Look at the difference between the card, because those are not areas of the card that you're going to mess with chemistry style wise. Now, technically speaking, if you wanted to, sure, you can just go in the direction of giving him an engine and stuff. Do I think it's going to be proper for the meta? No, you're going to give him a hunter for the most part, right? And for him, it makes sense because base card stats for defending being improved as a W, because you can also go in a completely different direction where you use him as one of the three midfielders and you give him defensive stats, right? So again, this option, it makes sense because of the chemistry style choice that you're going to be going with for the most part, right? So again, not a bad choice with Odegaard. I think that one would make a little bit more sense too. Palmer is also going to be another one, I think, right? So Palmer's card, again, if you look at the way that the dribbling is formatted, small improvements makes a difference in my opinion, right? Because if you compare that to the previous version, you could see +2s in significant areas, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's probably still a card that you give that engine chemistry style to, but again, you have a very similar situation where the boost in dribbling for base card stats, for defending, as well as passing for certain areas is a W as well. And it significantly improves this card, okay? Because this card, to make him as responsive as possible, is going to be very ideal for a lot of people, right? And the fact that you can give him the engine is really cool. But to be honest, there's people that I face that honestly just work with the dribbling as it is. And I'm not even kidding. They just give him like a hawk chemistry style and just work with the balance being low. Because the thing about this card is that he still has a base 88 base 88 balance. So, excuse me, because he is a 6'2" player, you're always going to feel that part of the card. So for some people, they're like, because he's going to feel like that anyways, I just give him a hawk, improve his physical to work with his body type and height, right? And give him the pace and shooting boost and kind of be perfect in that general area. So honestly, you can go in any area. I have faced Palmer sometimes and people can actually do work with him, to be honest. So this, in my opinion, is another good choice, right? Because of the base improvements that you're giving the specific areas for, again, passing, dribbling, and defense. That's the key thing here, because when you're boosting the defense for some of these cards, but you already give them a shadow and they're essentially perfect, doesn't make as much sense, right? Cool thing about Palmer's card as well is that because his base card stats are set up in a certain area, you could technically go in the direction of giving him a Maestro. Would I go in this direction with acceleration being that low? Depends on your play style, right? If you don't really care about the acceleration being as high, then you can go in that direction too, right? But the balance and stuff will always be low. But I will say that increasing reactions in this game, it helps out a lot of players as well, right? So definitely look into that one. Palmer, not a bad choice for the evolution, especially under the current situation, right? Diani. So Diani also gets one too. Defensive stats, it helps her out a little bit, because even if it's like +1s and 2s, she still has the high defensive work rate. So sometimes a card like this in that side position will help you out in certain areas, right? So again, with a card like this, I'm going to be honest, I'd probably still give her an engine chemistry style. I got her on the SBC account, and because of her body type, right, which is in a short and normal, like she still has like a little bit of a physical feel to her. So for me, I still give her an engine regardless of the shot power being lower, because again, she's improved in certain areas where if you do give her the engine, her passing is still not in a crazy area. The dribbling you're giving her is still a good boost because they're increasing her reactions, her ball control. The balance is still not at a 99, right? So obviously for link ups, again, you can go with this direction if you really want to. I've seen Diani in like a few people's teams, but like I wouldn't say she's like a super like top tier winger, but I like her, right? For the links that she gives you in a team too, especially if you did end up getting the left back card, what's her name, Bacha or something. It's a cool link up, right? Especially for that side position player, right? Who else do we have here? So we have Konate. Konate, what's the difference between this one? So it's 92, 93. Okay, so dribbling is a big one. The defense is not relevant because the card's already in a fantastic area there. The extra defensive awareness is not horrible. Defensive awareness is not a horrible thing. +2 there. You don't give the significant improvements in other areas as much as you would for some other team of the season cards, but that's not bad. Dribbling boost, big W. That one is a really big W because, to be fair, defensive awareness with a +2 and then reactions and composure being improved while also improving the agility and balance. Like, I'm not completely against this choice, to be honest with you. Because the thing about Konate, right, that I'm going to mention is that Konate, for me personally, he just has presence in game, right? And I always mention this during that review, even before we reviewed him, right? Just from the evolutions that he had in the past, that his body type and his defensive animations, for me, they just come off really nicely in game. So if you guys were to choose this Konate card, it would, in my opinion, it would still be a good choice because the small improvements that he's given in dribbling is a W. Small improvements in passing to make him perfect there is a W, right? But I'll tell you this right now, I'm really big on reactions and composure for defenders, and giving this card 99 for reactions and a 96 for composure is a big deal in my opinion. And in defensive awareness too, working with the medium high, +2, I still think this is a good choice, right? And I think for longevity, you always want to go with like the more meta choices anyways, right? So I'm not against this one. If you guys go this direction, it makes a lot of sense as well. even if it's not like significant upgrades in defense specifically, but it's still a good choice in my opinion. Araujo, I never tried out this card. Don't know what he's like in game, to be honest with you. But a well-formatted card as well. Shadow Chemistry Style to boost that. Difference between this, again, is going to be in defensive awareness, but dribbling being improved is a big W for sure. I think in his case, especially because he's kind of low in certain areas when it comes to dribbling. Passing base card stats being improved too would definitely be a very big deal as well, right? Base card stats for physical is already in a pretty good area. 6'2", medium high. Does have intercept plus, long ball pass. Long ball pass is very underrated for center backs. It's a great play style to have. And then aerial plus also very nice as well, right? Very good base play styles too. Regular block, regular anticipate. He doesn't, I haven't tried him out, but he actually looks like a solid pull if he still performs really well in game. I have no idea if he does. But yeah. Lise Malou. People meme this card, but I've seen people actually like use this card in game, and like he can actually do a decent job, right? So again, a card you give a Shadow Chemistry Style to. Honestly, this card, I mean, he actually kind of looks pretty good too. I think the improvements are definitely very nice. No intercept plus on the card for the midfield position, though. Does throw me off a little bit, but I mean, the double upgrades does make him a little bit more usable to work with. Do I think people will personally go in that direction compared to some of the cards that you have here? Most likely not. Let's be completely honest, right? Team of the season. I'm looking at Team of the Season Series 1, but I have to be looking at Series 2 here. Okay, thank goodness. I thought I was reviewing cards that, like, you know, maybe I did by accident one time. If I did, just ignore me for that one player. Palacios. I will say Palacios will be nice if it's a double. Oh, see, that adds to the card now. See, that's the thing, right? When I initially reviewed him, I was like, okay, this is probably not going to be a card that people use that often, to be honest with you, right? If it was just one upgrade, whatever, right? A double upgrade is definitely very nice. I think this adds to the card quite a bit. It adds to the card quite a bit because your direction with him can now change, right? Because look, this card initially, that's where his defensive stats were. So by default, you have to give him boosts in that area, right? But now his defensive stats is already in a very good area. You don't have to go in the direction of giving him a shadow, to be honest with you. You really don't, especially for the play style that he offers in game, right? So this guy's play style is not supposed to be your main defensive oriented card. I mean, he honestly could be after this double upgrade, to be fair, but the main thing that I'm looking at with this card is using him honestly as a box-to-box midfielder with the intention of having that medium-high work rate, and then just giving him a hunter or something. A hunter, maybe I can go in a direction where, I don't know, I'd probably still give him a hunter. Like, I was thinking like engine as well, but no, not with that pace. Like, it's more so the fact that you can give him a hunter now. That's like the main thing for me, right? The hunter chemistry style, it adds to the card because his defending is already in a very, very good area. Like, it's either he's going to get it or he's not going to get it, right? He does have very good play styles to work with. In the past, when I reviewed the card initially, I didn't really pay him that much mind, right? Because I'm like, oh, you know, unless they drop like a double upgrade for him, it's not really that relevant to card for the current meta, right? Like, the taller players, more physical, will make more sense. But yeah, no, the improvements that they gave him, again, it's relevant too because it's passing, dribbling, and defending. And if we take a look at the previous version of the card at a 93, this would be the difference, right? So those small differences, it adds to it, right? Like, even in the long passing and stuff, for the passing stats in general, it's nice, right? So Palacios is not bad, especially for people working with like that Bundesliga link, right? I'm not completely against that either, to be honest with you. Stanway, I never tried Stanway. I don't know what she's like whatsoever, but she is well formatted for an anchor, in my opinion, right? An anchor definitely looks really, really nice for her, because Stanway with an anchor is put into a good area when it comes to pace. Defensive stats, even though the small improvements are there, it has to be there, obviously, for the card to make her as nice as possible, in my honest opinion. Physical being improved is really cool too. Dribbling is already in the 90s area. She has a 91 for finishing. Passing stats is in a good solid spot. So she looks cool, man. She could be like a really, really good attacking and defensive oriented card. Like, she kind of reminds me of someone that could potentially be like a Bonmati. You know what I'm saying? Like she's 4-star, 5-star, has the attacking and defensive presence. The work rates are there too. And she has really nice play styles, man. Technical plus, intercept plus are two big W play styles for sure. So that one actually looks like a really cool choice too. I like the base improvements that she's also given as well, right? McAllister gets another upgrade as well. I think this is also another card that you can totally look into as well, because McAllister, when he's originally released, he's kind of like a generic midfielder that plays pretty decently in game. But now they've improved him to a point where if I give him a shadow, look at the massive boost that's actually given in the defensive department, right? So the interceptions and the sliding tackle is still an area that you can improve with defensive awareness. So even if he gets like a third evolution in the future, if they were to do that, it would be even better, right? Because these small improvements in the card, it just makes these cards significantly more usable, right? Pace is there, defensive stats are there, passing on the card is in a fantastic area, shooting is in the 90s area, dribbling is there, and his dribbling base mechanics are actually pretty decent, and I know this because of the showdown card. So with this card now getting a double evolution, especially for the Liverpool fans, they get a very, very solid Liverpool card to work with too. Physical is on the lower side. I would use them more specifically in like a 3 midfield setup as much as possible, right? Honestly, if you guys play him in like that 4-3-3 video that we're probably gonna be doing soon, and you play him in the cam position for it, he would do pretty decently there too, right? So not bad, right? Not a bad choice from the selections here. Minamino gets a pretty significant improvement too. Double upgrade on this card, which is obviously a big deal. So the 3 main stuff that they give him, you notice it mostly in the 2 main stuff, right? So actually no, the third one's still good too, because base stats for interceptions is actually higher too. And it's still a card that you'd probably give a Hunter chemistry style to as well. You boost the pace, you boost the shooting, base card stats for passing being improved as a W, dribbling being improved as a W, and defending being improved by a little bit for interceptions and stuff, also a W to work with the high work rate. So for the Japanese fans, not necessarily bad there. Monaco fans as well. Jonathan David, physical type attacker. Not a bad improvement as well, because when you give him the engine chemistry style, he's still lacking in certain areas that make sense for the evolution upgrade in particular. With this card though, you don't really give him any defensive stuff, which is where I think it's more of a waste. This is more for the people who are building a Canadian sort of team, or they just like to use physical type strikers that have that 5-star weak foot, whatever, right? It's going to be really up to the person. He has really good play styles as well, so you can't really go wrong with that if those are the sort of players that you are building towards, right? There's a couple more cards here that if you give them the improvements, they're definitely very nice too. Schlotterbeck. Let me see Schlotterbeck just for a second here. So shadow on him. And then what's the difference between this and the previous one? 93 rated. Let me do this. No, shadow for sure. And then 93 rated. I think this is a good one too, actually. No, this is a good one too, I think, man. Yeah, no, he's good, actually. So I never did the review for this card, but I'll tell you this right now that I liked him. Like, as a center back, I personally liked him. I liked him more than Saliba, personally. I liked him more than Saliba. I thought he actually defended really well in game. There was some people in my chats when I was originally looking at these cards, they were like, oh yeah, Schlotterbeck's not that good. I gotta say, I disagree, man. I think he performs really well in game, to be honest. The improvements are nice. He gets the small improvements in the defense, but the dribbling and the passing one is really nice. The only thing that's like weird, obviously, with the card is the high work rates. I always like to have that consistency with the medium high, but obviously that's entirely up to the person too. Gabriel, definitely, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, this is a good upgrade too. With him, it's mainly in not as much either. Well, no, dribbling is good, passing is good too. I just don't think people are going to go in this direction as much as some other cards. Sane gets the improvement. White, I think White would be significant too, actually. Yeah, base dribbling improved is nice. Passing also improved is nice too. I'm trying to see if there's any other big ones here that I missed out on. Like, other ones are mostly going to be like sentimental, but still cards that are nice for sure. Like Aubameyang gets one. I think Aubameyang would definitely need one too. Yeah, This card would be worth it as well. To make him as responsive as possible in the left stick department, the passing boost would be good. Yeah, this one wouldn't be horrible. But again, listen to what I'm going to tell you guys, okay? For this evolution, right? Really look into cards that get that defensive improvement, and you don't really touch it that much unless it's specific center backs, okay? Like I said, when we look back with some of these cards like Odegaard make sense, right? For this evolution. Because again, you give him the Hunter, you give him stats improved in those areas when you were giving him a Hunter before anyways, right? So for the Arsenal fans, big W there. Palmer, very similar situation. I still think Konate is a good choice, even if the improvements in the defensive areas is slight. I still think that'd be a really, really good choice. My chat is telling me that Gundogan is an option. I think Gundogan is from the Series 1, guys. When I looked it up firsthand. Yeah, it was from Series 1, not Series 2. That's why we changed the filter on that. But let me check real quick. Just to see. Easy SBC. Just to see I didn't miss out on some really big ones here. Because sometimes we do, right? Okay. Yeah, sentimental cards like Ruben Neves, you can go in that direction too if you really want to. Ruben Neves actually looks pretty good. Honestly, I'd be surprised if he sucks in game, because he actually has really good playstyles, man. Like very, very good playstyles. And the card just becomes better and better, where you can just give him like an anchor for improved stats in certain areas too. So that's not a bad choice. Like, he actually looks really solid. Again, I have not used him in game, so I don't know what he's like, but yeah, I'm just trying to see some cards here. Don't want to really miss out on anybody big here. Shrewsbury Hall, Douglas Luiz. I think Douglas Luiz gets a double too, right? Yeah, double is a big deal for him. Double's a big deal. It actually makes them really good too. Intercept plus, Trivela, and Ping's Pass. That's actually really nice for the Aston Villa fans. It's a card that's a competent card in the meta for the gameplay, for sure. 100%. Carvajal gets one as well from Series 2. So Series 2 first into Series 1 afterwards. A Catalyst. Oh yeah, because his defensive stats is already a pretty good area. Catalyst is not bad for him, eh? Not bad. Defensive stats in a good area. Dribbling improved too. Yeah. Whipped pass plus, slide tackle, jockey as well. That's good. See, Carvajal's one that we missed out on a little bit, right? Zegrova. Yeah, base stats for him is actually nice. It's actually really nice. The card looks fantastic. His base dribbling is basically 99. Interesting. Base dribbling, basically 99. He's a left-footed player. That's 5-star, 4-star. So again, that does add to the card, to be fair. It does add to him quite a bit, actually. Vertonghen gets one. McCabe. Mbemba, Aubameyang, Carvajal. Javi Simmons with one. Ah, so you could do it into Kubo. I'll tell you guys this right now, it wouldn't be a bad idea to give it a Kubo, because when I use him in game, I do feel like I want that improvement on the card. With this card, I would say you would still give him like a Hunter chemistry style too, but base dribbling, passing, and defending is not bad for him. But Kubo is more like, he's meta enough, like you could definitely use him for sure, but with the cards that exist nowadays, it's a little bit different, I would say. Malin gets an improvement. Kubo, Bowen. My chat keeps saying Isco. I don't think Isco is even an option, because it's not even showing up here. Okay, he does get one. Okay, so it's just not showing up there. Or I missed out on it. Oh, this one's a strangely formatted card. Why did they make his agility so low? Oh, he's strangely formatted. Because right away I want to give him a Hunter. But if I give him a Hunter... Is this the highest one? Isco would be cool if there was a double upgrade on it. Because if there's a double upgrade and then I can give him a Hawk, then it would be cool. But with one, the pace is still kind of low in the night. It's more so the agility. The agility is the thing that throws me off a little bit. The thing is, though, man, is that if this card is anything like that card back in the day, that flashback card was amazing, right? It could be, because the thing about Isco is I think he has like a unique body type too. Average and normal. Ooh, I don't know about that one. What's the playstyles you have? Technical plus, Trivela plus, and Pings pass. Yeah, the only thing I'm more concerned about is just the agility. Because in this game you have to be with the way that dribbling works nowadays, but... Oh, see, that adds to it, though. I just noticed this. He has defensive stats. Oh, that adds to it a lot, actually. I take it back, bro. That adds to it a lot. I was thinking, like, mainly, like, cam. Like, okay, I'm using him as a cam. But now I couldn't care less about this agility with the fact that I can give him a shadow. Yeah, I couldn't care less now. Some defensive stats, use him as the attacking... What's his work rates? High, mediums, 5'9", 5'4". And he has... Trivela, technical, pings pass. No defensive playstyles, but listen, man, if you play like 4-3-2-1, if you play 4-3-2-1, or you even play him, because listen, this 4-3-3, right? This 4-3-3 that I'm going to put out, if you play him in the cam position of this 4-3-3, even that position would be really good for him too. Not bad. Not bad. But yeah, this evolution's a W in general. Like, it's a paid evolution, yes. But the improvements that you give for a lot of these cards, I personally think is very significant in making them way more meta to work with on a personal level. So definitely some good stuff there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.